Where was Jason Kelce drafted? Is he a first-round guy? Was he a first-rounder? What round did Kelce go in? That guy is a special football player. I wouldn't be shocked. So Kelce was a 6th or 7th round. Do you know how unbelievable that is to see a Hall of Fame guy going rounds like 6th round? The guy, Larry Allen, went in the 12th round. That is unbelievable that Jason Kelce's a 6th round center. Centers don't go to the Hall of Fame. There's so few centers in the Hall of Fame. You can name them on a hand. He's going to be a first ballot. I actually think it's pretty remarkable that Jason Kelce and his brother are on the All-Pro team. That's insane. Kudos to them. Kudos to did Andy Reid draft both these guys? Hey, tell me this. Did Andy Reid draft both these Kelce guys? Did he draft Jason Kelce in Philly? And did he draft Travis Kelce in Kansas City? Shit. Kudos to Andy, man. He must have known something's up. It's pretty remarkable. I mean, that is Andy Reid drafted 2 Hall of Fame football players. Here is the All-Pro team. No debates on Mahomes. Josh Jacobs. This is the NFLPA All-Pro team. By the way, this is the inaugural one, and guys get paid on this. Josh Jacobs, Pro Bowl running back. Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson. Devontae Adams should have been the wide receiver over Tyreek Hill. Really? I don't think so. I would have voted Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson. Okay, I would have. Trent Williams, best tackle in the game. Left tackle. Bitano from Cleveland, the left guard. Kelce from the Eagles, center. Dude, 12th, 13th year. This guy's all pro. That's incredible. Awesome year. Zach Martin, I think this is his 9th. Right guard, Dallas, and Lane Johnson, Hall of Famer. Lane's going to the Hall of Fame, too. You got the Eagles have 2 Hall of Fame offensive linemen. That's incredible. Defense, Nick Bosa and Myles Garrett. What's the one thing you notice here on the defense? You don't see Micah Parsons on it. Yeah, Bosa and Myles Garrett. Interior tackles, Chris Jones and Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald, I mean, that's a gift. I didn't see it. Dexter Lawrence from the Giants is the nose. Fred Warner from the Niners. Roquan Smith, who's now the highest paid linebacker in the history of the league. Patrick Surtain. This is who Jerry wanted. And now he's all pro. Patrick Surtain, who would you rather have? A lockdown corner like Patrick Surtain or Michael Parsons? Who would you rather have? Who would you rather have? Michael Parsons or Patrick Surtain? Patrick Surtain plays on a pretty good Bronco team. That Bronco defense is in the top 3. It could be 2 to the Niners. Not me. I wouldn't want Parsons at all. He shows up sometimes. This guy, Surtain, plays all the time. He's an all-pro player, man. I think Michael Parsons, I think he's fool's gold. Dude, when's the last time he had a sack? I didn't see it. I haven't seen it, too. His defense sucks compared to some of the other elite defenses. People keep telling me Dallas has an elite defense. Where? It's a gambling defense. The only reason that Dallas has a pretty good defense is because of Dan Quinn. That'll go away when Dan gets a job. If Dan gets a head coaching job, that'll go away. They'll be back to the Mike Nolan Cowboy defenses. You watch. They can't stop the run. That's tough, but I'm Surtain the second fan. Give me the DB. Tone, think about this. Lockdown corners. Look at what the Eagles did this year. They led the NFL in sacks by committee. There was no Nick Bosa or Micah Parsons on that team. They had a bunch of guys that got double-digit sacks. 4 guys, double-digit. That's incredible and great. Micah Parsons was fool's gold. He can't stop the run. And they run at him. I don't think that guy's better than Pat Swilling. Pat Swilling for the Saints and for the Lions was a freak show. He was incredible. I could name you 10 edge rushers in history before I even get 10. I can name 20. Diggs is not better than Slay. Diggs gambles too much. How many times do you see, dude, between Diggs and Jalen Ramsey, those guys gamble more than anyone I've seen, and they gamble too much. Hassan's not better than Parsons. Hassan's doesn't have the skill set that Micah Parsons has. That's not fair. Parsons is a better tackler, and he's a better cover guy. Hassan is below average at those two skill sets. Rushing the passer, Hassan Reddick is elite. Tackling and covering backs and tight ends, he's below average. That's the fair assessment on. That's why he's on 3 teams in 3 years. He's not the greatest tackler. You can run at him because he's a little dude. But when it comes to pass rushing, he's elite. I mean, he's a little guy out there. 6'1", 240, 235. Dude, he's a little guy. That's why he's not the best tackler. But he wasn't paid to do those other he wasn't asked to do those things. He was asked to come in and be a pass rusher. And that's pretty much what he's done, and he's succeeded. And again, as long as you have the understanding, and I think that's one thing the Philadelphia Eagles came to grips with. He's not a tackler. He's not very good, Hassan Reddick, at covering backs and tight ends. Let's just wind him up and let him go. And that's what they did. And his game picked up. And when they started stopping the run a little bit more, it became apparent he was going to benefit. He benefited the most from Joseph and Sue coming aboard. He totally benefited the most. Okay? Hassan is a pure pass rusher, and I'm okay with that. He's a specialist. That's right. And Tone's right. He was brought in to do that exact thing, not cover tight ends, not cover backs. But it's frustrating sometimes when you see Jonathan Gannon put him in that position because you're limiting him on what he does and what his skill is. Why would you have a lesser football player on the field covering tight ends and backs? Why would you have – and you already have a lesser player in TJ Edwards that can't cover him. So TJ can't cover. Hassan can't cover. And Kaiser White struggles with it. That's the problem with the interior of the Eagle defense. They're not very good cover guys. And that, thank God you have your corners the way you do, and you have the slot corner in CJ. CJ coming back's a big deal. It's a big deal. Actually, it should solidify it more in the postseason having him in the slot corner, CJ. Gardner Johnson's a heck of a player. He's a heck of a ball player. Matt says 100% agree with assessment on McNabb, but with Hurts, the only thing you haven't mentioned is the trajectory. Hurts is on an amount, and okay, Matt, it's true. It's true. Matt, I don't think Jalen Hurts ever reaches his potential. He'll never reach his potential. Do you want to know why? Why do you think Jalen Hurts will never reach his potential? Richard, thank you. But by the way, he has improved. It's been great to see. That's why it kills me when Gannon overthinks stuff. The guys we brought in for a reason. Absolutely. Drew says coaching. Dual threat. That's more it there, but coaching. Look, I think the coaching actually lets him do and play the schoolyard ball. But to me, Hurts will never live up. I don't think Lamar Jackson's ever going to live up to it. Andrew Luck never did. Josh Allen is next. I've said that to you. One day, the only reason that Josh Allen survives is because he's 6'6". He's 255 pounds. He's 6'6", 255. If he wasn't that size, he'd have been hurt already 5 times. He'll never. Michael Vick, numerous things happened to Vick, though. But Vick never lived up to his potential. RG3. Kyler Murray probably won't. Lamar Jackson will not. Jalen Hurts isn't. You're going to miss games. It's not sustainable. You don't win games from the pocket. And if you get hurt, and God forbid you hurt your knee, that's part of your game. If Brady hurts his knee like he did years ago, that's not going to affect Brady's game at all. He doesn't rely on anything like that. He relies on throwing the ball. Now, if Brady's arm got hurt, that's why Drew Brees, that was a big. Hey, Drew, you're right. Stop comparing Lamar to Jalen. You're right, because Jalen's nowhere near Lamar Jackson. That's right. You're right. I'll stop doing that because he's nowhere near that. Absolutely. Jalen's not a different breed. No, he's not. Stop telling yourself that. Different breed. What, do you think there's other guys in this league that don't work hard too? Don't have a story? How about Tom Brady's story? Shit, they tried giving his job away at Michigan to Drew Henson every year. And then you had all those guys up there in Michigan pretending like, oh, Brady was. No, he never was. They hated Brady. Michigan hated Brady. Hated Brady. They were trying to give that job to Brian Greasy and everyone else. Hated him. Hurts is getting better every year. He is, but that'll slow because, again, it's slowed this year. Jalen's growth was stunted this year at the end of the year because of injury. He was trending in a really good place until Chicago. Then it went the other way. Looked terrible in the New York game against Scrubs. We'll see what he does. He's going to have to start to play hurt every year of his career in December. Every year when December comes by, if they continue to give him the ball the way they did, by the way, they increased his rushes. They didn't diminish him. They increased them. He was on projection to have 200 carries, almost as many carries as Miles Sanders. It's not sustainable. Watch this. All the things you said. He's coachable. He's a great kid. That has nothing to do with the style of play. Jalen gets a knee injury, it's over. It's over. One of these dual threat guys that had knee injuries, what did they do when they came back? Nothing. Nothing. Because they weren't pure pocket passers. Allen is a pocket passer. 35 touchdowns, 4,000 plus yards. He's a pocket passer. By the way, it's no disrespect. This is what the Eagles have, and they're going to build this team around him in the short term. This is a short-term deal here. This is not long-term. This is a 5-year thing tops. Then it'll be worn out. Like all the dual threat guys get worn out. Every dual threat guy that's ever played in this league gets worn out. Seals, you play the hand we're dealt. Absolutely, Chris. That's why they're doing. But see, the dynamic changes, though, Chris. When you got to pay a guy this, like look at Arizona, for instance. Let's take a look at Arizona. They got a quarterback that's 46.1, $250 million, right? Okay. So the next coach that walks in there has to put a play calling system in for Kyler Murray because he can't be put in a phone booth either. So you're going to be more in line with what Kyler has to want and what he can or can't do with the style of play he has. He's a 5-year deal too. He won't be around. Well, shit, he's already out till next October. He's already out. Hate to say it, man. This is a 5-year thing, so write it. This will not be like I said in the first hour to you guys. This is not some sort of Super Bowl window where you have 5 years here. This is not a 5-year team. This is this year, and we'll see what happens next year kind of team. You get 16 free agents. You got a quarterback that you've got to start putting on a pitch count. He's been hurt 2 years in a row. He's missed ball games. That's not going to improve. It's not. It's not going to improve. If Josh Allen, absolutely, Maniac. If Josh Allen keeps running like he does, he's a 5-year guy. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. That's why they got to get him a running back. The kid Singletary's not bad, but they got to be better than that. And they got to start limiting his rushes. They got to start limiting his rushes. If they want to keep Josh Allen upright, they got to do the same thing in Buffalo that they need to do in Philly. No question about it. Mahomes runs to get away from the pressure, not to gain yards. He's not that. Dude, they don't even let that guy do quarterback sneaks anymore ever since he hurt himself against Tennessee. Okay? This guy, they're not designing run plays for Patrick Mahomes at $45 million. That's not what they're doing in Kansas City. And by the way, I keep hearing people bring up Eric Bieniemy's name for a job in the NFL. Eric Bieniemy will never be a head coach in the National Football League, ever. He'll never be a head coach. He'll never be an NFL head football coach. Unfortunately, his own behavior is the reason for this. Just to be clear, I'm not the Brandon saying all these ridiculous things about her. What ridiculous thing? That's my... Neither will Brian Flores. That's a crime. Brian Flores should get another opportunity, as should Jim Caldwell. Those two coaches are quality coaches. Okay? Jim Caldwell and Brian Flores should get opportunities again. If I was head of a football team, Brian Flores would be one of my first. He turned the Dolphins shitbox around so that people can prosper in what they're doing now. It was Brian Flores that turned that whole thing around down there. They were a well-coached football team. Well-coached. Brian Flores is a quality man. Drew, Frank's interviewing on Thursday for the Carolina Panther job. Maybe. Okay, maybe. Dan, you sound like you're not familiar with Josh Allen. Josh Allen is a spectacular talent. When you watch Josh Allen play, you go, holy shit. When I watch Jalen Hurts play, I go, wow, that's really good. Was he? Brandon says he was below 500. Was he? Probably because of the first year. That's right. Brian Flores' coaching record. Brian Flores' coaching record.
Here is information from Sports.
Yeah, because they won 5 games in the first year because the place was a shit box, as I said. And he won 19 games in the last 2 years. So you're right. Guess so. Bills are not getting to the Super Bowl with Allen's gamble. Are you kidding me? Josh Allen's a spectacular talent. Spectacular. Let's go into... Oh, by the way, the defense, I didn't finish. Surtain and Slay, Fitzpatrick of Pittsburgh's a free safety, and Derwin James is your strong safety. I want to close that up. I put a list together of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League, kind of where we're going. I put the top 10 guys. The top 10 NFL football quarterbacks that I think are the elite guys in the game. One of them here, I got a question mark. I'm not very sure if he belongs, but let me give you the list. At 10, I got Jalen Hurts here. Not my cup of tea. I don't build my team around dual threat guys. It's going to be interesting to see what he does in the postseason and what legacy he starts to build. It begins now, or it kind of began last year, but we'll see what legacy he builds. Your legacies are built in the postseason. Okay? And so far, he has no true anything in the postseason yet. So, and by the way, so do other guys on this list. I got Hurts 10. I'm suspect on this thing here with Dak. I think Dak has to get to the NFC title game for that contract to be a success. If he doesn't, he is no longer a top 10 guy. I mean, I could see, and I would feel comfortable with people going like this. Sells, he's between 10 and 15, don't you think? I'm there. I'm there. I am so close to being there with that. Okay? I am so close to being there. Number 8. Deshaun Watson is going to win a boatload of football games in Cleveland. Once he gets a full year of being back in a system again, there's a reason he got $230 million guaranteed contract. There's a reason for that. He is one of the best talents in the sport. I have complete confidence in him. He's one of the most gifted athletes, and he's 24. Deshaun Watson is a spectacular talent. Again, not my cup of tea. Lamar Jackson, another dual threat guy. The reason I put him here, MVP, unanimous, won 14 games in his second year, actually first year starting. We'll see what happens when he goes to Miami, what happens here. Okay? We'll see what happens. But Lamar has shown that he can throw the ball at least. Led the NFL in touchdown passes. I got still right now the best quarterbacks. This is the best quarterbacks in the game. I got Brady at 6. Broke his record for most attempts, most completions. 68 completion percentage and threw for 4,600 yards at 45 years of age. Brady is still in the room. Here are your 5 quarterbacks. I got Trevor Lawrence, number 5. Proven to me he's a franchise. He is a great-looking talent, and I think that he has played the best quarterback of anybody in the league for the last 3 months. He has been spectacular. His numbers dictate it, and they've won the division title. He's really turned it around. Doug Peterson should get massive kudos for what he's doing here. Justin Herbert, another spectacular arm talent. These top 5 guys have brilliant pass skills. They're just spectacular. Justin Herbert, second fastest to 14,000 yards, next to Patrick Mahomes. I got Josh Allen, number 3. Amazing talent. Guy can run, and he has a laser for an arm. This guy, I think, could stand on the goal line and throw it to the other goal line. I mean, his pinpoint accuracy, his deep passes. Some would go like this. Well, he had high turnovers. Well, yeah, if they were allowed to finish that game and the Bills win that game against the Bengals, they would have been the top seed. It didn't matter. Imagine when they rein that stuff back in and he plays perfect ball. Josh Allen hasn't played the best. Josh Allen hasn't hit a ceiling yet. And he is who he is already. How can it be empty calories when he's 13-3? He's got just as many losses as you. How can it be empty calories? We're not talking about a 9-8 record here. He's 13-3. He's 13-3. Joe Burrow. I mean, the only reason I may put Joe Burrow 2 is because he's been injured more than Mahomes. Joe Burrow is on. You know what? I think it's between. Wouldn't you agree? It's between Lawrence and Burrow, who's been playing the best ball the last 3 months. Those two guys have been playing. The Bengals are on a roll since the 0-2 start. Okay? And then Mahomes. So here's your 10. I think the 10 best quarterbacks. Hurts at 10. 9 is Dak. And I'm debating on that. Deshaun at 8. Lamar Jackson at 7. Brady at 6. Trevor Lawrence at 5. Justin Herbert 4. Josh Allen 3. Joe Burrow 2. And Patrick Mahomes 1. I would say this to you. One of these quarterbacks this year is going to have a different narrative after the regular season and the postseason combined. Okay? We're going to have a different narrative on how we look at Mahomes. Mahomes wins another Super Bowl. You're talking about a guy who's taking the baton from Brady. If Joe Burrow gets back to his second Super Bowl in a row, he's building a postseason legacy. If Josh Allen wins the Super Bowl, he changes the most important narrative that I talk about all the time. You ready? Dual threat winning a Super Bowl. And validating the $42 million a year contract. Trevor Lawrence. The prophecy would have been fulfilled. If Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson get to an AFC championship game, man, they're going to own that division for the next 10 years. Doug and him are going to look like Brady and Belichick. If they get to an AFC title game, I'm going to make this point to you. Doug's going to win more conference and more division titles than Sirianni will. He already has. He's won as many as Nick already. Nick's got better talent. You know, some would go, that division sucks. Well, you got better talent than what Doug has. You want to go back and forth on that? Okay. And the greatness of Dimes Jones and Tyler Heineke and Dak in your division. I don't know. No, I don't know. Brady's legacy is already set. Lamar Jackson, we'll see what happens here, man. Dak's got to win, and Jalen's got to begin. All right. Do me a favor. Hit the like button. Hour number 3. Keep it here on the National Football